I was working with a team of 13 leaders, I think it was 12 or 13, and did the emotional intelligence assessment with each of them, sat with each of them individually and did their individual coaching, helped them orient to their opportunities, and then met with them for their first team meeting where I bring them the data and I talk about their goals. And we tidy up and everybody leaves and I'm cleaning, and one of the VPs walks back in, and it was so cute. He kind of leaned in like he was telling me a secret. He's like, I think I get it. And I'm like, what do you get? He goes, if I behave differently, other people do too. I'm like, tell me more. He goes, I see how I can influence the team. I always, because everyone thinks it's everybody else.
Right.
Welcome to the Marketing Expedition Podcast, an auditory journey through the latest in marketing, branding, and advertising. Now, here's your Marketing Expedition guide, Ray Allen.
On this episode of the Marketing Expedition Podcast, I get to speak with Michelle Choate, and she is a keynote speaker, leadership coach, executive team coach, and organizational development consultant with over 25 years of experience in organizational culture, individual, and leadership development. Michelle helps people master their self-leadership, effectively taking back their power and maximizing their influence in complex, volatile work environments. Emotional intelligence is the foundation of Michelle's approach to increasing self-compassion, self-awareness, and impact. And you're in for a treat. I love talking with Michelle. She has been a friend for a while, but also just a lovely person to be around. So stay tuned for that. But first, it's time for your Marketing Essentials moments, the basics that you need to help you continue to build your brand and your bottom line. Today's topic, I thought it would be fun because we're speaking with Michelle and she does a lot with emotional intelligence. And so I did a little research on how do we incorporate emotional intelligence in marketing from a marketing perspective. And so I found a couple of things that I thought were just little nuggets of information that you could use in your marketing as it relates to emotional intelligence and connecting with your audience and thinking about how your audience is building their self-awareness and thinking about from a marketing perspective what that means, how your brand can be perceived by others, and to be self-aware in your brand, right, is important to have strong internal brand clarity that includes the fixed company values, the mission, the voice, right? So it's like your brand has its own self-awareness that we all know about when we are trying to communicate with our ideal customers, right? Self-awareness also means being able to understand our brand's unique marketing strengths and weaknesses, just as we would when Michelle is coaching us for our own personal emotional intelligence in the workplace. Same thing, self-regulation in the world of marketing and advertising, utilizing this idea that our brands need to be regulated in some capacity to understand the methods and the influence of people's thoughts and actions around the experience of the brand or the service or product or nonprofit that you are representing. So from an emotional intelligence standpoint, if we can be self-regulated to avoid doing things or causing unintentional harm to our brand, this means following guidelines and methods and strategies that are not only legal, but truthful and authentic in our brand voice as well. Not trying to be things that we aren't, or trying to be all things to all people, because then we're nothing to nobody, right? And so thinking about how we can regulate our brand and keep it on point or on brand, as they say. And then another emotional intelligence component is motivation. And so if we're thinking the motivation that we would refer to how decision makers are driving those decisions to buy from us or to support us or whatever the case might be for your brand, if it's a product, service, or nonprofit or entity or whatever the case might be. But more specifically, the motivation for why we're doing what we're doing in our marketing and what will involve the ability to drive that motivation for our customers to want to specifically buy from the brand experience that we're giving to them. So what's motivating them and why, and what's motivating our brand to maintain what we want it to be portrayed to be, okay? And then, of course, empathy. And we do this a lot with empathy maps. We step into the shoes of our ideal customer and we understand, what kinds of things about them. What are they saying, thinking, hearing, feeling, doing? What motivates them? What's the day in the life? What kinds of things are they going to be influenced by? So empathy is one of the really important parts of emotional intelligence, in that we want to make sure that we can put ourselves in other people's shoes, because sometimes we're not our own target audience. Sometimes we are not wanting to market to ourselves because we are not in the age range or the demographic that we're actually trying to sell our product or service to. And just because we like something does not necessarily mean that your target audience will like it, or vice versa. Just because we don't like it doesn't mean that your target audience won't like it. So empathizing with them, getting kind of in their mindset, in their shoes, it can really help us tailor our marketing and our messaging based on their likes and wants and needs and desires, not our own. And sometimes I have to remind that to our clients, like, just because you don't like something does not necessarily mean that your target audience won't like it. If you're trying to attract a young, hip, crowd, although don't say hip because that's not so hip to say hip anymore. But if you're trying to attract a young crowd and you're maybe not so young, like the ideals behind what is going to attract them maybe not be the same ideals that you have. And then social skills is another part of emotional intelligence. And really, I think that that's an important aspect of thinking about our marketing, right? We want to build rapport. We want to do business with those that we know, like, and trust. We want to trust the brand. We want to do things to build that trust and likability, and, thinking about what those skills can be to help motivate, and also think about what would the social skills need to be if we're wanting to have that brand experience, everything from customer service to how you make the people feel when they buy from you, all of those things, right? So I just thought it would be kind of fun to go through some of the emotional intelligence concepts as we talk with Michelle, because she does this way more than I do, obviously. And it's her, bread and butter and life's journey is being able to help others with emotional intelligence. But I thought it'd be fun to apply it to a marketing perspective. But let's get into the interview with Michelle next. Welcome to the Marketing Expedition podcast. I'm your host, Ray Allen. I'm the president and CEO of Peppershock Media and the founder of the Marketing Expedition community. And today's guest, we have Michelle Choate with us. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here.
Yeah. I love it when we get to do these in person and can see eyeball to eyeball. Right? It makes it nice when we have people local to the Treasure Valley area. So let's just start off first. Share a little bit about you, your journey, and how you got to where you are, and we'll dig into a whole bunch of stuff with the retreats and everything. But
sure, let's
just start off with kind of an overview, more than what the bio will tell us. But
right.
give me who is Michelle Choate?
Who's the man behind the mask?
Right.
The journey has been one of self-development, self-reflection, and very much is a parallel to the work that I do. I wouldn't do the work I do if I hadn't taken the journey I've taken.
Yeah.
I came into organization development, which is looking at how systems within organizations support people. Mm-hmm. And in organization development, you're looking at people, process, technology. And so often when I was doing organization development, I was training conflict and communication. And people would come to me and say, well, that's interesting, but let me tell you my story. And so I started really trying to deepen my understanding of the individual experience, the person's experience, not just the process and technology that organization development kind of encompasses.
Right.
And what I started to notice was so often it appeared that the person might be unsuccessful or not responding well to the environment. The context, though, wasn't supporting their performance. And so I started wondering, how do I help people maximize their control over themselves in complex environments?
Okay.
And so that brought me to emotional intelligence.
Yes.
And so I became certified as a coach of emotional intelligence, and I can assess people and do 360s. That shifted for me the capacity that we have to have self-efficacy or control in our workplaces. No longer was I going to watch people be victims of their environment. And that capacity that people have of emotional intelligence to know themselves, to use emotional information in a productive way, to express themselves in a meaningful and productive way using emotional intelligence is the basis for most human interactions.
Right.
We are driven by emotion.
Yeah.
And the denial of that in workplaces is symptomatic of burnout, low resilience, bad behavior, bullying, and other aspects of our workplace cultures that end up being really unproductive.
Yeah.
So one of the things I love about the work is helping people see that emotions are simply data. It is simply a data point. When you're feeling, when the environment is eliciting from you an emotion, that tells you something. And rather than deny the feeling or brush it off or wipe it under the rug, right, to acknowledge the feeling, explore it with objectivity, and get a greater sense of what in that environment is eliciting that from you so that you can make a different choice in the future. It's been a really, really beautiful journey.
Yeah.
I've been on my own as ML Choate since 2019. Right before COVID.
Oh, yeah.
And so that was a really interesting, really interesting transitional period for a lot of people. The environments that most of us worked in changed very significantly.
Yeah.
And I was able to, through just, some diligence, be able to make connections in the business communities in Treasure Valley and other areas of Idaho. And I also have some clients outside of Idaho to help them recognize that even in that level of complexity, ambiguity, uncertainty, and volatility, people still have choice. And so empowering people, and that's the most literal framing I can offer, giving people information that helps them understand what's happening to them, around them, within them is powerful.
Yeah.
And when people feel empowered, they're more likely to be productive, have conflict and disagreement in more effective ways, and be able to be more present to themselves and each other in a more compassionate way.
Oh,
So that's a lot of the joy that I get to explore with people in all different industries and at very different stages of their professional development.
Yeah. I've done the emotional intelligence work. I mean, it's been like the assessment. It's been quite a while. So for those that don't know what it is exactly, can you just dig in a little bit more about the assessment and kind of like how it lets you know information, like you said, about yourself? Like, what is it that you get from taking the test, if you will, or the assessment?
So I use the EQI 2.0. There are maybe 3 or 4 assessments that you would consider valid and reliable. So they measure what they say they're measuring consistently.
Okay.
And the EQI 2.0 is one of them. I like it because of the level of granularity that it offers.
Okay.
Rather than having maybe 4 buckets that the data is dropped into to say, this is your self-awareness, this is your other awareness, the EQI 2.0 offers 15 different data points that allow us to understand with greater depth and specificity the behaviors we enact when we are emotional or faced with emotion. I work from a strengths-based approach, so I'm able to show someone, look, you have really high assertiveness. That's a beautiful and effective behavior set, and maybe your empathy is a little bit lower. So let's talk about what happens when you have less empathy for someone and you tend to be more assertive. How do we use your strength instead to elicit better responses from the people around you? Not to change you, but to help you recognize that sometimes your behaviors just don't work.
Right.
They're not working anymore.
Right.
I also really believe in the 360 quality of that, so I can do a 360 assessment. Humans are notoriously bad at self-assessment, and there's a whole, I think it's the Dunning-Kruger effect, where people just think they're really good at stuff they're not. And so the EQ 360 gives me a chance to say, you believe that your problem solving is low, but the people around you are experiencing it with greater productivity. What do you do in this environment that demonstrates that you have this skill that you may be enacting unconsciously? And let's make that a tool rather than something you just do instinctively.
Right.
So it's really a powerful way to enable people to, again, take back their power in their workplace, to make choices that support both their development and development of the organization's needs. And at the heart of it, for me, when I think about why and how I coach, it's that I know that people, unless they are truly sociopathic, and there's, like 2% of the population, let's be frank, that are. But they're probably not functioning in the work environment, right? Most people come to work every day to do their best job.
They want to,
Right.
they would like to, or
Right.
but if they're given the tools to do so, that's a whole nother thing. Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if the behaviors or the outcomes are blamed on things like personality or environment, low budget, I don't have this, I'm under too much stress. Those are all things that if we take those things out of the equation, people have greater capacity to influence more productively. They have greater insight into how their teams are functioning. They have greater objectivity about what's happening around them. And that objectivity part is really powerful. That emotion, I just said this to a client yesterday, having the emotional distance when there are emotions involved, recognizing yours, recognizing those of the other, and seeing that simply as an observation, not as a means to react. So I really drive forward that reflection and then action rather than just react. Our world right now is demanding of us all the time a hypervigilance. We work and live in fight or flight so much of the time. Emotional intelligence gives us the capacity to move out of fight or flight, be more present, be more effective. Those are the outcomes that I can see people really gaining from this awareness and coaching.
Good.
Yeah.
So when the teams take the assessment, they get their results back, you work with them to kind of describe what it means. Because oftentimes we take these and we don't always know what they mean.
I will never hand people a set of data and say, peace out.
Right.
Have fun with that. No, when I do an individual coaching, there's a deep debrief of the data with goal setting and then a cadence of meetings that help really focus on developing key skills and maximizing strengths. When I do team coaching, the cadence is less frequent for the individuals. We do maybe once a month instead of once a week. But the team is meeting with greater frequency, and we focus on behaviors that are reflective of an emotionally intelligent team.
Okay.
So the team score is not an average of, okay, your team is overall really assertive, great. It's saying, so if as a collective you're all very assertive, how effective is your listening skill in the team environment? So let's learn to offset that with more intentional behavioral norms and very specific goals and actions that will help everyone's voice come to the table, not just the few people that are the most assertive. So it's really working to create a team environment that's reflective of the best behaviors that drive collaboration and team outcome.
Okay. So do you ever do kind of like workshops with the teams then? Like you come in and work with people for a little while and kind of go through everything with them? Yeah?
Sure. Yeah. With the EQ, that's about a 6 to 8 month cadence. The work is so rich. To do just an in-service on just the EQ, it's sort of like giving people a recipe, but not telling them how to turn on the oven. It's like, cool, I've got this list of ingredients.
We don't get to eat it.
I don't know how to mix it together. I don't know what's going to activate this.
Gotcha.
So the coaching process helps activate.
Okay.
For in-services, for example, I do training and I do keynote speaking on all of these topics, including self-compassion, resilience, emotional self-awareness, self-talk. Those aspects of the products of our or gaps in our emotional intelligence are great in services. I do those pretty often, several times a year for companies.
Okay.
Mostly on the in-service side of it, the opportunity for leadership to step away from the directive role and be with their team in a learning environment. I've seen so much leverage gained when you have people at the table learning together. So that's what I really strive for.
Well, and this is all a part of, I always say culture is part of your brand. Your brand is your culture, right? And so when you're building your culture from the inside out, and we want to make happy campers so that we have happy customers, and working on the team, making the team the best team that it can be through learning the skills and learning, like you said, to, emphasize those things that they do really well and maybe, augment some that don't.
Right.
But it helps build the team, and then as a kind of a residual side effect, ideally, then, they're happy, our clients are happy, we're all happy. That's what we want.
The qualities that, you get as outcomes of this work are often more cultural than they are external. They have to do with how I want to be at work, who I want to be at work, how I want to be with at work. And those are cultural markers. Culture is what we reward and punish. And so if we're not able to name behaviors that are productive or not able to redirect behaviors that are not, we're building a culture that's not really maybe driving the business outcomes that we want.
Yeah.
So that intentionality helps us move culture as a business tool, as a business means to get stuff done, rather than just, oh, look at, we're happy here, but are we really talking about the right stuff? Are we really having productive conflict? Do I feel like I'm heard? Can I bring up tough issues to my boss?
Right.
So very cultural.
Yeah. I wonder, have you experienced where you've worked with teams and there's just stubborn people who don't want to change? Has that ever come up?
What? Stubborn people who don't want to change? Yes, all the time.
I imagine.
All the time.
Yeah.
In individual coaching, rarely. In the team environment, most often, and this actually, this is real. I was working with a team of 13 leaders, I think it was 12 or 13, and did the emotional intelligence assessment with each of them, sat with each of them individually and did their individual coaching, helped them orient to their opportunities, and then met with them for their first team meeting where I bring them the data and I talk about their goals. And we tidy up and everybody leaves and I'm cleaning, and one of the VPs walks back in, and it was so cute. He kind of leaned in like he was telling me a secret. He's like, I think I get it. And I'm like, what do you get? He goes, if I behave differently, other people do too. I'm like, tell me more. He goes, I see how I can influence the team. I always, because everyone thinks it's everybody else.
Right.
Which is another human, it's actually human attribution error.
Yeah, I was going to say like a condition of normal, like what they think. Yeah.
Right. So that opportunity for people to reflect on how they can contribute in a meaningful way, their rights and their responsibilities. I really work on driving to individual contribution, even at the team level.
Right, yeah. No, I could see that. Sometimes, people are stuck in their ways and change is hard. And, they're creatures of habit. This is how I've always done it. Doesn't mean that it's the right way, but
right. Or it's not getting you the same outcomes that you think you want. Most people come up in an organization, based on skills and patterns that they had, but they're not the skills and patterns that they need as they move up.
And as things change, I mean,
what
happened yesterday and worked yesterday doesn't always work now or even tomorrow. It's going to change.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So that's where emotional intelligence is really powerful, because it also lends itself to a growth mindset where learning becomes something that you embrace because you're not threatened by it. It doesn't threaten your identity or your sense of self, because you know yourself so well.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it's really blessed.
That sounds
super
sounds
blessed.
like a lot of fun. Let's dig into some of the things that you've been doing lately with these retreats. Tell me all about the retreats.
Thank you for asking. Choate, which is the coaching and consulting company for emotional intelligence in businesses. I've been doing that for 7 years, and I absolutely love it. It lights my fire. About 3 years ago, I started thinking about, and I get a team together twice a month for 2 hours. Over 6 months, we see incremental changes, and it's beautiful. I started wondering what would happen if I could take people for 2 days, 3 days.
Uninterrupted, a whole time, 2 days, dedicated
to them really diving into self, emotional intelligence, emotional self-awareness, emotional self-management, and have it be in a place that is not the corporate or business environment, but someplace that's away. There's no phones, there's no computers, someplace that's nurturing, intentionally holding a space for people to come in and really be vulnerable to the degree that they can start to shift their viewpoints. So started digging into this. There's nothing out there that is emotional intelligence retreats that are not straight to corporate. I wanted to see a group of people who were committed to themselves come together and what would happen with that kind of dynamic. Yeah. So holding a space for 10 individuals and one group of 10 people is a retreat outcome. As a facilitator, I've led teams. Literally, I've led trainings of like 750 people.
Oh wow!
But to bring people into this intimate space also meant that I had to start to explore how I facilitate, who I am as a facilitator. I'm not going to be standing in front of a room with a PowerPoint and a whiteboard. I need to be able to be with people in a different way. And so I was curious about what facilitating retreats would look like for me, where I am on my own journey of personal development. So I decided last fall, I decided a year before, then I'd kind of started to lie down the content, what it would look like, what it would feel like. And I really wrote the retreat arc, the experience that people would have based on what would I want or need. If I'm coming from a busy work day and I'm driving an hour or two to a location, I don't want to come in hot and be stressed. I want to walk into something that's going to bring me in, embrace me, nurture me, make me know that it's okay to just be for a little while. So brought a group of people together last August, and what happened was more than I could have possibly ever imagined.
We met, do you remember? We met for happy hour at the Air Club before you did your very first retreat.
I do remember.
And we talked about your ideas and your plans, and so now it's kind of fun to see full circle how it all came together and what worked. So tell me, what happened in that retreat, in that moment where these people got together, and now what happens after, now? Yeah.
About mid-morning, the first full day, so they've been together 4 or 5 hours collectively. One pulled me aside and said, did you curate this group? Did you go find the people and bring them in? Because something's happening. I am having emotional connections with a group of strangers. I've known them for 5 hours. And I said, I actually did not curate this group of people. The self-selection, the choice to come and be in this space, which was each of their own individual choices.
Well, they have that common mindset that they wanted to be there.
That's
it.
Good. Right? Yeah. So beautiful experience. And we wrapped the weekend. All of us were so moved, just emotionally moved by the experience we each had. And some of the individual experiences were so incredibly profound, the shifts. One woman, I can't even, the power of the language that she used. She said, for the first time, I'm being kind to myself ever. And it's wonderful. Can you imagine walking through your life never really truly holding yourself close and dear? The basis of the retreats are self-compassion.
Yeah.
And we cannot really show compassion to others if we're not showing it to ourselves first. And so that's sort of the opposite of what we want in our world right now.
It's like giving you permission to be able to do that, because so many people just feel like it's, I don't know, it could be awkward for people to feel like they should be, giving themselves attention.
That is such an interesting point, right? We, especially women, we're so outwardly focused, that extrinsic part of it. How do I serve? How do I look better? How do I move things? How do I change things? But we don't really give ourselves that same gift of attention. The word compassion is about alleviating suffering. And we don't alleviate our suffering. We compile it, we compound it through these efforts to meet everyone else's needs. And the weekend is intended to draw you back into a space where you commit to and offer yourself that same level of compassion, the elimination of your suffering, the attendance to your self-judgment, the language that you use with yourself, the choices that you make because of those, and to reorient yourself to a space where self-compassion becomes not just an idea, becomes a habit. And for I could tell you, for every person that went to that first retreat, the changes were profound. One woman had experienced a deep loss and had not been given permission by the people around her or herself to fully grieve.
Oh, man.
And she came into this space and had some really kind of intimate conversations with individuals, but also collectively felt safe to be vulnerable, and realized that she had not been compassionate with herself. She forced herself to not feel in the face of other people's expectations, and was able to, it's so moving. And so she was able
to... you gave me goosebumps.
It was really beautiful. And this same woman had been exploring an advancement in her career just as this weekend was beginning, and found deep encouragement from the other attendees, applied for and got the advancement.
Yay.
She's now a senior executive officer in the city of Boise, not for the city itself, but for one of our organizations here that it really does powerful work. She wouldn't have done that had she not been at the retreat. now her work can make a difference in more ways than even one person's could, because she has the ability to move others now.
Right.
Because of the senior executive role.
Yeah.
Another gal, amazing story. She was talking about how we got together about 3 months after the retreat, just to kind of connect people. They all stayed connected via text. They have a text thread that I'm on, and I watch them send each other love. It's beautiful.
Yay.
And she said that she literally saved a life because of the retreat. And we're like, wait, say more.
Yeah.
That she had been in an auto accident, and another driver was injured, and she got out of the car and performed life-saving measures on him, and said 3 months before she wouldn't have had the courage to do it. She would have sat in the car and waited for someone else because she didn't think she was good enough. And she actually literally saved somebody's life.
Oh my gosh.
From 20
like the confidence and the, oh my gosh, the ability.
Capacity to see yourself as whole and perfect and effective just as you are. I mean, I can't make these stories up. And they just, it's so resonant, this kind of work, especially now in this world where we all want to offer others compassion and we're not giving it to ourselves first. It makes it really hard for us to access that skill.
That makes sense.
And it's all coming from emotional intelligence, right? Self-compassion has so much to do with emotional self-awareness, emotional self-management. If I can't name the feeling, I can't manage the feeling.
Okay.
And if I can't recognize that I feel sad, and instead I avoid my feeling of sadness, that's not compassionate.
Yeah, that's avoidance.
That's avoidance. If I notice you, my dear friend, is feeling sad, I'm going to say, hey, you seem sad. What's happening? I want to be here with you. That's compassionate.
Right.
So turning that back inward to ourselves is emotionally intelligent. It's really beautiful work.
Good.
Want to start a podcast but don't know where to begin? At Potterific, we don't just produce podcasts. We help you create auditory experiences that will captivate your audience. Our state-of-the-art podcast recording studio, powered by Peppershock Media, is designed for creators like you. Record with high-quality equipment supported by our expert team and distribute your podcast across major platforms like Apple and Spotify. Whether you're launching your first episode or you're a seasoned podcaster, we got you covered. Visit Potterific.com today to learn how we can help you produce, record, and share your story with the world. Your podcast deserves to be Potterific.
Well, I love that for you, Michelle, and that you get to have these experiences and bring these people together. And now you're doing another one, right?
I am.
Okay, tell us more.
Yes. So Shine is the name of the first retreat, Self-Compassion and Emotional Intelligence. The second retreat in the series will launch later this fall. We're running our second offering of Shine at the end of May. Self-compassion it's sort of two sides of the same coin. There's the gentle self-compassion. It's offering ourselves that kindness.
Yeah.
The other side of that coin is more fierce. It's more based in assertiveness and confidence and setting boundaries.
Okay.
And so that'll be our fall retreat. I want to have people experience Shine first so that there's a deepening of self-awareness before I bring them this next set of tools.
Gotcha.
So running Rise or Shine a couple of times gives me a chance to check the content, work with people individually, watch how a variety of people are responding, so that as I build Rise, it's going to meet them where they are.
Okay.
They're not going to be dependent on each other. You could enjoy the value of experiencing the more assertive compassion, self-compassion, separate from the first event. That said, I feel like this is not a moment. It's a movement. It's more than just a meeting. So there's more to this than just come for a weekend.
Right. Yeah. Well, you have more to do, and it sounds like they stay together after a while, too. I love that, too.
Yeah, it was really beautiful watching them support each other and continuing. And in fact, we're getting together in June.
Oh, good.
The whole collective again to celebrate the successes of the people that attended and the advancements that they made professionally, but also personally, because this work lives in community.
And it's not just a one and done thing.
Nope.
You're always practicing, always, doing the things to become self-aware or maintain that. Yeah.
Right. Well, and people, I am not except in relation to other. And so to be able to be in relation with other defines me and defines humanity as we create it collectively. So that community part of it's really important.
Yes.
A really big part of the work.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, okay, this is a marketing journey. We're going on a marketing expedition. Tell me about some of the things that you've done. Because you said like you didn't necessarily curate the people that were in the room, but you obviously had some attraction to get them to sign up and come to your event. Tell me what you did. How did you do it?
One of the things that I have been really grateful for is for my coaching and consulting, I work only on referral.
Yeah.
I have a beautiful network of people that I have spent time with in complexity and having intimate and sometimes difficult conversations as they grow themselves professionally. So when I started envisioning Elate, I reached out to that group of people and said, what would it look like if you took some of the work that we did in 2 hours and did it for a whole weekend? Like, what would that look like for you? What would that feel like for you? And if you could envision that, what would you want of that? And I did some surveying to assess where people were. I wanted to understand their experience of some of the elements of the program, like sound baths. Have people done that before? Somatic yoga, have you done that before? Because I didn't want people to walk in, at varying degrees of capacity and not meet them where they were. So that was a really important part of it. That probably could have felt like curating. I didn't turn anybody away because I didn't get any feedback that was concerning to me. Yeah. But it was really important to me that it was a like-minded group of people. Yeah. So that was, in terms of bringing that group together. Yeah. Same, and that'll be part of the cadence that I'll use for all of the Elate retreats.
Good.
Using that network will continue to be a start. What I'm learning, though, and this is the joyful part for me, because I tend to get bored. Like at 5 years in any business, I've been done. It's very rare that I've been able to do something this long, and Elate is the new kind of igniter for me. Good. I'm not selling learning and development. This is a tourism product. And I'm on the fast track of learning about tourism. Okay. Because I'm selling destination. Right. And learning, not just learning. If it's learning, I'd come into a company and do that. I do that all the time. But to excite people, to engage them in the exterior of their environment. Right. I want them to be out in nature. We go to the mountains when we do this. There's bonfires. Nice. I want the food to be comforting and warm, right? Yeah. That's a feeling. I'm selling a feeling as well. Yeah. And even just saying the word selling freaks me out a little bit because that's not my gig. No. That learning arc.
You're sharing your passions and you're getting paid for it.
Sure.
That sounds better than selling, but I get that too. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, well, and the evolution of Elate is not just to have people from Boise go an hour outside of Boise. Yeah. It is truly envisioning people coming to Boise for these kinds of experiences. Right. So what brings people to Boise? Right, that is purely seasons, I need to tell people the story of Idaho, and I'm an Idahoan. Yeah, so I have a very innate love for the space. How do you put that into words and engage people, their heart, all of their senses, to then come and experience something transformational? Yeah. So that has been a really important part of this journey, is just reorienting myself to a completely different business model.
So are you going to the same location every time, or are you changing it up every time?
Changing it up.
Gotcha.
Not that the locations aren't meeting their needs. Right. I'm just trying to figure out what fits. Right. And the only way I can do that is to test them. Yeah. Test the experiences in different environments.
See what works and what doesn't, and why, and the configurations of the space. And, if you're doing yoga, you got to have space.
Right? Yeah. And there's got to be enough bathrooms, for Pete's sake.
Oh, right. Yes. Especially for 10 women.
Thank you. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And as Elate continues to evolve, can this be a corporate offering as well? I think
I should clarify, is it just for women, or
these retreats right now are just for women?
Women, okay.
The longer term vision is that they will be inclusive spaces. Okay. And so how to create that inclusivity and psychological safety, if you will, for every attendee. Right. That's a part of the vision that I have. I don't see the only thing I kind of draw the line is I don't see myself doing couples because that I think that's just a little more complex.
More dynamic atmosphere, sure.
Yeah. Not that couples can't come together in these complex spaces and really do amazing things. I just, if they're not well positioned, I don't want to be the person trying to manage that.
Oh, sure.
I come from a corporate environment.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, there's a different layer. But like Drew and I work together in the business together, so it might be a little bit different scenario than if it's, maybe a husband and wife that don't, have a business together, for
healthy
example.
Conversations.
Yeah.
I couldn't feature a wife saying, we're going to this weekend and have a resistant partner or vice versa.
Yeah. That could be not so great.
Right. And could this experience be meaningful for a male audience? I think it could be. Yeah. It would have to be I would co-facilitate it with someone who can speak to that audience more directly and really make those emotional connections that I may not be able to because of cultural differences, literally. Sure. Yeah. But the LGBTQIA community, that's another community I want to be able to embrace in this work. So I'm just, that's part of my learning at this phase. Yeah. The women that's me. Yeah. Like I said, I wrote these for me. Yeah. So right now it's very natural for me to use this. The growth arc is going to be inclusive of all.
Yeah.
That's good. I know. I'm really excited about it.
I love that for you.
Thank you.
And I think if I remember correctly, I remember seeing a video or some photos or images that you had posted about your retreat and maybe some things that people had to say. So I think that was a wise way to help promote it again in the future, right?
Thank you.
Doing more of that, getting the people to capture what has happened or transpired and encouraging others to go because of their words, not just yours, but they're fueling word of mouth by using their mouth
That's right.
to talk about you and talk about what you do. And testimonials are very, very powerful. Yeah, it's good.
That part of it, again, not coming from a marketing background, that's part of my own growth and development in this space. Yeah. The other thing that in terms of marketing that I'm trying to understand is just simply the concept of brand.
Oh, yeah.
Because ML Choate is me. That's a pretty straightforward. I just am who I am. I show up like I am. I do my thing.
You are the face of the brand. Yep.
And Elate is its own brand. And I show up there in a different way and create a different space, and it's not a space that a corporation or a business has designated. It's a space an individual has chosen. And so branding that transformational experience and that emotional part of it, that's all something I'm really digging into right now, trying to understand how to
and
tap
you could
into
set
that.
the stage for you to have other facilitators that you would train.
I've already, that's on my business plan.
Good. Okay, so that way then it's not just your brand and your name and your face. Now you've got associates that you can work with and grow that. One of our clients and mentors and vendors, if you will, was Ron Price from Price Associates.
Sure. Oh my gosh, I was just talking to somebody about him today. He was so good.
He's selling his the Complete Leader program.
I heard that.
Yeah, and longtime client, like for 20, like probably one of the first clients we've ever had.
Oh, cool.
And done a lot of things, but just from that mentorship. But he did Price Associates, and then other associates can now also be a part of the Complete Leader and the programs that he's put together over the years. And I think that was a wise way, because then it's not just one person trying to do all things for everybody. And now you have different, people who have different strengths, right?
Exactly.
And you could grow it, Michelle.
That is my vision.
Good.
It is exactly the pathway I'm laying down. And it could take a couple different directions. It could be that I bring other associates in who are, co-facilitators.
Right.
Or I run a retreat company that people license my retreats and can use our resources, and we help them organize. Good. So there's a couple of different ways to think about it. And I'm just excited to see which evolution is the one that's going to make this work stick.
Right.
Because it isn't, it's a business, right?
Yeah.
I'm not doing this because it's a job.
Yeah.
I'm doing this because it's going to make a difference.
Right.
And I believe very strongly in this, in this work, in the people that are in the circles I'm engaging in that want to see the world be healthier and more connected. And it's an important time right now.
Good.
I think, for this work to happen. So,
well, we're going to have to go capture some footage and videos of people in their environment, what they would allow us to do, right? With what they would care to share. Right. And then we can capture right afterwards and get them to tell us all about the experience.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
That's all, again, that's all the learning stuff I didn't know to do the first time, but I'm starting to understand now.
Yeah. And the power of having other people talk about the experience rather than just you yourself talking about it, it really has this residual side effect, because when they're talking about it, they're showing their, excitement for it and their experience that they had in their own words. But then now you can use those words that they've said with, different variety of quote cards and things like that, because they might explain something differently than what you would. Right? Because we have all of our industry jargon that we use and all the things that we would do. But the way they say it might resonate really well with your target audience, because they're the ones who are spreading the word. Right. And
it's their experience.
It's their experience.
And their transformation. And their even to the degree that it's their interpretation of what they experience, which could be right on point with what my learning objectives were, or could be something completely unexpected. And there was that vast spectrum as an outcome, which I love. Because that means it is not just me doing this, it's the event and the space and the people creating this.
Yeah, the whole experience.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Great
so
observations.
All the things to
Thank you.
Keep going and keep doing and keep building and making it even more and more.
I think your insights are really important too, Ray. I mean, those are the parts of it that, in terms of marketing and branding, coming into this work 7 years ago, it didn't even dawn on me to do this kind of thinking. And as a business person, I've been able to evolve to be able to describe it now, at least.
Good.
But knowing you and working with professionals like you gives me so much more insight. So thank you.
Oh, yeah, of course. Happy to do so anytime. I could talk about marketing all day. But speaking of, if people did want to reach out to you, and I mean, this is a global podcast after all, and people want to be a part of it, how could they learn more and sign up for something that you're going to be putting on?
Sure. So elateretreats.com is the retreat company.
Okay.
It is a brand of ML Choate. So you can also look at michellechoate.com. There is a phone number for Elate. It's 208 United States 1.
Oh, yes.
For our international friends, 208-391-3632. So that's just a direct line to Elate specifically.
Good.
You can find me on LinkedIn at Michelle Choate. We've also got an Elate site there. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I'm learning all of these new modalities to tell the story.
Good.
So I would love to continue. Before I came here, I was having an amazing conversation with someone who's envisioning wellness work in the Treasure Valley of Idaho. Yeah. And these opportunities just these connections keep happening.
Good.
And so that's why I feel really compelled. And by the way, for our international friends, my vision is to be international.
Yeah.
Within the next 3 years.
Bring people everywhere from anywhere. That's awesome.
Bring people here, go there. I'm excited about this part of the journey.
Yeah. You're right in saying that it can be a tourism platform too.
Never dawned on me.
There's tourism grants, so maybe we can hook you up with
Talk to me.
the department that does that. But yeah, no, this is really great. Cascade Chamber of Commerce is one of our clients. And for those that don't know, Cascade is a mountain town, probably about 3 hours away from where we are in Boise.
Oh my gosh.
And, McCall and the lake, and it's just a beautiful area. So I think that there's things that could maybe potentially be partnered, because when you go to a location, right, it's all about, butts and seats and heads and beds, right?
That's what they want.
And they want to feed people. They want to have experiences, and there's all kinds of things to do outdoors. And we just, there's like a Frisbee golf park, there's rafting, there's, you can rent ATVs, you can do all the fun things. So definitely a connection there.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. And for Idaho, specifically the Southwestern Idaho Tourism Association, amazing group of people. SCAL International, another amazing group of people who are educating me on this new industry that I'm engaging in. And as an Idahoan and a small town girl, to be able to spend my money, to bring people to a location means so much to me. So I'm always looking at those partnerships.
That's
I think it's a
great.
really important part of this work.
Yeah. Well, there's definitely SWITA. We work with them too, the
Terrific.
Southwest Idaho Tourism. There's grant funding that the different entities will receive to help promote their area. And the grant dollars is what helps pay for promotion. And we can't necessarily promote one single business, but we can promote events and just different experiences. Yeah. So I don't know. We'll have to talk about that some more, Michelle.
I like that idea
Yes.
so much.
Yes.
See,
Yeah. All the collaborations and partnerships and all the things that can come together. I think it helps, and it helps promote commerce in business. And that's what, bringing people here to showcase what we have to offer. Now we have to be careful because then now people will start moving here.
That was something I heard someone say at SWITA was, bring your money here and then go home. Which, as a native Idahoan, I can dig on that. And I can also, as somebody, I love to travel, and the idea of going to other places, I'm always compelled.
Yeah.
Almost without exception. Every place I go, I'm like, I could live here because the people are so beautiful.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the gifts of bringing people to Idaho is to remind them that, we might be the Wild West and have, our own kind of platform that people might think that we speak from, but there's a whole richness to the Idaho communities. Cascade's a beautiful example. And how do we show people that beauty?
That's right. That's right. Well, thank you so much, Michelle, for sharing your wisdoms and knowledge and
You're so sweet.
your journey that you went on. Any last parting words or anything else that you'd like to share with our audience before we wrap up?
Only that these kinds of moments, to spend time with someone who I've met professionally and gotten to know better personally, means so much. And I'm so grateful.
Oh,
so thank you.
Yeah, well, thank
That
you.
means a lot.
Oh, thank you. I didn't know you were going to talk about me. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Yeah, no, definitely love the connections and love the word of mouth marketing. And you've come to our events too.
Sure
I appreciate that.
Yep.
So we'll have to get testimonial from you too about having attended a word of mouth mixer.
There you go. I'm in.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Well, with that, thank you again, Michelle. Really appreciate you coming out to Nampa in our Peppershock Potterific podcast studio. See, I popped my peas. And for those of you watching or listening, thank you for doing so. The best thing that you can do for Michelle and I is share this with others that you know that need to learn about what she has to offer. And of course, if there's anything that Peppershock can do for you, let us know. And until next time, everybody, enjoy your marketing journey. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Marketing Expedition podcast. Want to continue the journey? Don't miss out on new episodes. Subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Music, or wherever you get your podcasts. Wouldn't it be great if there was one place you can go to get all the latest information and tips about marketing and advertising? The Marketing Expedition community is that place. People like you gather in our online community to build relationships with others and find the latest marketing trends, tactics, tools, and technology. We help you build your brand and your bottom line. Start your adventure today. Visit themarketingexpedition.com to find out more.